We are coming up on the 4th anniversary of the murder of George Floyd. Today we're talking about a community event at Franklin Library called Broken Promises, Police Reform Since George Floyd. It's free and you are invited. Just Voices Iowa is here. Lori Young, Director of Communications, and Harvey Harrison, founder of this. Thank you guys for being with us today. We really appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Good to be here.
May 25th,
yes.
a day that shook our nation. The trauma, the fallout from that, a day that you cannot forget. We can't forget it,
Exactly.
Period. Tell us about this event, the work that you're doing. Y'all are really deep into reform and creating relationships, and we're in such a damaged space. So tell us about May 25th.
Yeah, May 25th, we're so excited. Just Voices Iowa does a lot of public speaking and educating the residents of Des Moines about this issue of racially biased and unjust policing that is happening in our city. So May 25th is a date that we decided, it falls on a Saturday. It's perfect. We want the world, Iowa and Des Moines, never to forget what happened to George Floyd on May 25th, 2020. Much like we don't want anyone to forget 9/11 or the Holocaust. This was a pivotal, earth-shattering moment in our nation's history to see a man murdered over 9 minutes and 47 seconds. So on the 25th, we're inviting the public out to join us for a workshop. And not only will we memorialize George Floyd, but we will also have spoken word, we'll have music to celebrate his life. And then we're gonna dig in on how far have we really come?
Tough conversations.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as a criminal legal system and policing changed much since George Floyd, and we'll look at it locally as well as nationally.
We can all appreciate that approach of kind of buffering those tough conversations with artistic expression.
Yeah.
Because art and releasing our emotions helps us move through and feel and get creative and release. And then, these conversations are so necessary because without them, we repeat history.
Exactly.
The book that you brought in today, a powerful book that you have worked extensively on, and I see it as a history book, right?
Yes,
documenting what's happened. We can't let history keep repeating itself.
We agree.
And with that, when you approach these difficult conversations, it's all about allyship and honesty.
Exactly. Just Voices couldn't do what we do without other activist organizations in the city, such as the local NAACP. One of our strongest allies is Iowa CCI, Citizens for Community Improvement. And we felt it was important to look back on 2020 and all the protests that happened in Des Moines. There were over 40 of them, and document what happened. What was the experience of protesters? Was the Des Moines Police Department's response appropriate, or was it escalated? And so we interviewed and we pulled it all together, interviewed protesters, and created the magazine.
So tell us about the data, the numbers, the statistics you've found.
Yeah. Well, when we look back on 2020 in that summer, we know that there were over 40 protests in Des Moines. We know that 208 people were arrested, most often in mass arrests, and 282 charges were filed against these people. But largely, all of them have been dropped. But when we look at the policing data in Des Moines, we're just looking at 2023, 36% of all bookings at the jail were of Black people. In 2023, 20% of all traffic citations by the DMPD were issued to Black people. And also in 2023, 32% of all warning citations by the DMPD were issued to Black people. Now in Des Moines, Black people make up 12% of the population.
So the numbers show the inequality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And another interesting stat is that in Des Moines, Iowa is the 7th worst state in the nation for the disproportionate incarceration of Black people. We're tied with Utah and I believe Nebraska for that 7th place spot, a very disgraceful place to be, because 25% of inmates in Iowa are Black, but statewide, the Black population is only 4%.
Thank you for sharing those very important numbers. Data speaks. And May 25th, we're going to drive people to your event. We thank you so much for being here. You're part of the solution, right? It takes work to get to solutions.
Wonderful that you would have us. Thank you very much.
We appreciate your time.
Yes.
All right. We're going to